Hey guys, welcome back to Fromthedepths with ChillBuilder here. Today we're doing episode 4 of Imperial Navy versus Neater, and we'll be fighting the Onyx Watch. This project has been taking a little bit
Listening.
longer than I expected. It's been a couple of weeks since I played the campaign, and since then I got a new computer, with which I am hoping to run better, larger battles without any issues in
Listening.
performance. Just doing a quick review of the map right now. We have 1 million material in the hold at the HQ. We split our combat forces into two fleets. The northern fleet was 1 cruiser and 2 frigates, and the southern fleet here was 3 destroyers and 1 frigate. Both fleets are supported by a number of small crafts. So for diplomacy, I picked the option of war against both the Onyx Watch and the Scarlet Dawn. The reason is this is the only option that allows us to engage with the Onyx Watch while leaving the least amount of border exposed. Originally, I did not want to fight endgame faction like the Scarlet Dawn so early, but we have just finished building a new laser light cruiser, so we'll be using that to counter the Scarlet Dawn, and that will leave us in a good position. Interestingly enough, we have 1 million
Listening.
material in the hold at the HQ. We'll be spending that to build 2 light cruisers. As the diplomacy has been declared, immediately the Steel Striders retreat from the Scarlet Dawn from
Listening.
their little adventure there. This is good because we want them to be fighting us and instead of each other, and we'll get to see more battles this way.
Listening.
Okay, we have our first battle against Onyx Watch. Right now we're fighting against Conestoga, which refers to a covered wagon from the American pioneer days, which I think is a very appropriate name for this craft. Unfortunately, we sent in our strike craft, and they don't have the sonar that's required to detect the underwater target, which it is. So now the Conestoga is so solo in the water, it has become a submarine. Luckily enough, we have a destroyer nearby, and all of our capital ships are equipped with sonar. And as you can see, the broadside guns do quite a bit of damage, even against shallow underwater targets. All of our capital ships have been tested in an anti-submarine role. Here next, we have a bunch of gunships facing off against Onyx Watch Furnace, Breezeworks Collection Point. And yeah, unluckily we caught a face full of cramps on one of the gunships, but it's very resilient enough, despite having very low armor, that it's flying with just 1 wing, which is interesting. What's not interesting is this battle because we kind of just pump the furnace with missiles until it disintegrates. Not much else happens in this combat. The gunships use short-range missiles because they're better at penetrating defenses. However, and they vary the range of the target, so they close in to fire the missiles, and they retreat to reload the missiles. So it's very unlucky for us to be hit by crams while we're constantly moving. What's crazy is our upcoming next battle against the Scarlet Dawn. So early in the game, actually. We're fighting the Armageddon Protocol, which is one of the newer and scarier crafts from the Scarlet Dawn. As you can see, they spawn nukes, and these low-light laser cruisers are designed specifically to counter the Armageddon Protocol. Each cruiser is about 420,000 materials, and they've been tested to take on a fleet of Armageddon Protocols each. And here we got 2 just for safety. The lasers are the main weapons on the light cruisers. The pink laser is a charged thermal laser. It takes 15 to 20 seconds per full charge, but I think now they're firing at half charge just because the targets are smaller. What's funny about the Armageddon Protocol fight is because that fleet was outside of their own territory, they were actually unable to spawn nukes. Here we got a fight against DMOs, which I thought could be a little bit iffy because it's lasercraft against lasercraft, but the DMOs was taken out or fully disabled after maybe 2 hits from the light cruisers. The issue with the older laser designs is that they pack all the laser components into one chamber, whereas for my newer laser designs, the laser system is split between 8 subsystems that are in wholly separate compartmentalized chambers separated by bulkheads. The issue with lasers in this game is they have few attachment points, so they do break easily and huge chunks will fall off. And also lasers are highly combustible, so you do want to split up your system into as many sub compartments as possible to prevent catastrophic damage like what we just seen. Going from one extreme to another, from high tech to low tech, here we got two Imperial Navy destroyers facing off against a Poseidon old age sailing ship. And funny enough, this is one of the first time where we're taking significant damage to our craft because we're all getting to short range, and that's kind of the range that the Poseidon likes for their full broadsides. As you can see, the Poseidon is a very beautiful ship with so much detail. Unfortunately, compared to us, it's all gun and no armor, so it did get taken up very quickly. I did not even have time to see if the guns on the Poseidon would chain react, and obviously our guns don't chain react because we don't have any clips. Here we got a battle with the tiny Onyx Watch flying castle. I think it's the cutest Onyx Watch design. Unfortunately, what they don't have is a fully distributed lift system, so it topples out of the air very easily after only a little bit of damage. Finally, we have our debut battle of our heavy cruiser against the Onyx Watch Iron Curtain. I think we're about twice the cost of the Iron Curtain, so it's very much not a fair battle. The cruiser is 600,000 materials, the Iron Curtain is about 300, I think. The cruiser is designed to fight craft its own cost, so it's got very impressive, as you can see, very impressive kinetic broadside with sable guns. The Iron Curtain is pretty much a sponge without any large, expensive components, so it can soak up quite a bit of damage just with its armor value. The heavy cruiser also have about 100 firepower in lasers, solely for munition defense. So it's a very heavy ship with a lot of defenses, and basically it can shut down the full offensive power of Iron Curtain's missiles. Here we got our light cruiser's debut battle against a space target, which funny enough, I have never tested in while designing the craft. But because they're designed to go quite fast, they're able to maneuver or outrun a lot of enemies before they're able to get too close or aim directly from above. The light cruisers are also able to maintain stable flight at a high roll, so they're able to roll their side armor against approaching space adversary. With two cruisers here, we're easily able to get side shots into that Dominus. So the gun system in the Dominus kind of chain reacts and it's game over after firing only one salvo at us. They did manage to score a hit despite the bobbing up and down motion of our craft, but it's only surface level damage. Here, I think is one of the most annoying fights of this episode. We got a bunch of frigates with high velocity weapons and a single cruiser against this velocity. Funny enough, Scarlet Dawn velocity. So I had to go into the breadboard for the cruiser and change the engagement range on the secondary lasers, and then we're basically doing 100 firepower of tickle damage on this high-speed bomber for maybe 10 minutes, and they can't really touch us, but we're doing very low damage against them until that tickle damage goes through and ignites something on that craft. But we do eventually get them. Here we got a little bit more of an interesting battle against the Scarlet Dawn Galaxy, and as you can see, the particle cannon does do some damage against us because particle cannons don't usually miss. We got all the superstructure taken out in one hit, but luckily we have a lot of backup detection systems. Galaxy is a very old design. It has very low armor and very low redundancy, and didn't take many hits to shoot it down. Okay, staging for the final battle final battle of this episode at least, against the Onyx throne. First of all, we sent off our strike craft to take out the little smaller units because we have a cruiser here and its guns would just overpen all of these small units. So the gunships will be able to be a little bit more efficient, and then the Onyx throne spawns in and we bring our own cruiser. Kind of been careful in this battle not to bring the little village to the north. This Onyx Manor, I just feel like so sad blowing up the Onyx Manor. It's such a beautiful little structure. So here we don't have our cruiser in yet. I think they got a little bit of a lucky hit on some of these gunships with the cram. Not too much else happens in this battle. We all know the cruiser has good munition defenses, and then the Onyx throne itself is a little bit of a sponge, as you can see in the previous battles. Is other Onyx Watch craft, they don't have all of their expensive components all grouped together, so it's very spread out. They can soak up a lot of damage before disintegrating. What else do I have to talk about while we watch the Onyx throne being ground down by our cruiser and gunships? Well, other projects I've been kind of trying to work on my custom campaign on and off. That's a realism-based campaign, but the map editor has been giving me a lot of issues, and it's pretty demotivating. Building all the units, setting up the map just to see the units go the opposite way. The enemy units go the opposite way from your units. Instead of coming to fight you, they just run away to the opposite side of the map for no reason. And there's not a lot of documentation or reasoning for the map editor, so it takes a lot of figuring out to make it work. So yeah, anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy From the Depths content. Thanks, bye.